I need your help. What you see before me here is my summer reading list. What started off as a very neat little tidy list has turned into the Great Wall of unreadableness, unreasonable unreadableness. So I need your help picking which books I'm going to read for the duration of the summer. Now, normally I wouldn't want this channel to dictate what I read, but the thing is, I want to read all of these books. Okay, I am sort of at an impasse. I don't know which ones to pick. So if I leave it up to you guys to vote for which books I'm going to read, I'm still going to end up reading books that I want to read. It's just going to help me narrow it down. So let's get started first off talking about a couple of the groups of books that I have here. There's four main groups of books here. The first group is the biographies. These books I checked out from the library. I have Ani DeFranco's autobiography. I have a biography on Agatha Christie. I have The Double Life of Bob Dylan. I have I'm Your Huckleberry, an autobiography of Val Kilmer. And from the rock band Airborne Toxic Event, I've got Mikel Jolette's autobiography, Hollywood Park. But here at home, I also have biographies of J.D. Salinger, Thomas Wolfe, Richard Brautigan, Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, Bill Murray, and Peter O'Toole on my own shelves. And so I thought it'd be fun to just do one video talking about a bunch of biographies that I've read, and maybe kick that can down the road and read a few biographies here and there, filling in the blanks between other books, and then do one big video later on down the road and just do a biography video. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, and if there's a biography that I didn't mention that you think I should read, go ahead and mention that in the comments as well. All right, so that's one group of books here. Another group is the Stephen King books. And so I have this idea about going through and reading all of the Stephen King books again. So for better or worse, I've read every single Stephen King book, but some of these I haven't read in over 30 years. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to go back and start rereading them in chronological order. And so I was going to start with Carrie and then move on to Salem's Lot and The Shining and The Stand and The Long Walk, which is a Richard Brautigan book. And so I thought that would be a fun video to do, like read 5 Stephen King books and review them all together in one video. The man has something like 70 novels. I don't really want to do another 70 videos dedicated to Stephen King on this channel, but I thought, maybe if I group them into groups of 5, that might be kind of interesting. So let me know if you're interested in that at all. All right, the other group here is, I've got these Shakespeare plays. I've got King Lear, The Merchant of Venice, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. And you might be asking yourself, what ties these 3 Shakespeare plays together? You might not think anything, but there is something that ties them together. And it's in these packages here. So Christopher Moore, a very funny author, wrote a book called Fool, which is sort of his Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead's version of King Lear. And he wrote The Serpent of Venice, which is a parody of The Merchant of Venice. And he wrote Shakespeare for Squirrels, which goes along with Midsummer Night's Dream. So I thought it would just be a whole lot of fun to read all 6 of these and talk about them. But I was going to split these into 3 different videos because I don't think I can talk about 3 Shakespeare plays and 3 other novels in one video. I really want to get to this project. This has been kind of in the works for a long time. These have actually been sitting in the package in the corner of my living room for a long time. So I just opened them on camera for you. But let me know if you'd like to see me tackle this project this summer, or if this is something that maybe can wait for later. And so then the last category of books is just the unrelated category. None of these books are related to each other whatsoever. These are all just individual standalone books that I want to read. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote a Sherlock Holmes book. I don't know anything about the book except that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote a Sherlock Holmes book. And if that's not intriguing, I don't know what is, man. Okay, Michael Chabon's Pops. It's a book about fatherhood that I want to read. This one is kind of interesting. This is just a short story. This is Richard Chalmer and Stephen King did a split book. It's a very narrow little thing. It's 2 different short stories. It's kind of cool how they did the cover there. Check that out from the library. This is the Twyford Code by Janice Hallett. It's a mystery novel. My mother really enjoyed this one. She thought I would like it. William H. Gass wrote a book called The Tunnel, and this book took him something like 20 years to write. I'm not familiar with William Gass's career at all, so I've never actually heard of this book. This was a recommendation from one of you. One of my viewers recommended that I read this book, and I finally got a copy of it from the library. I was going to buy a copy, but this is a really hard book to track down, and in hardcover, it's pretty spendy. So I just went out and I tracked a copy down at my library. So, and actually, let me just say that while you guys are voting on all these other books, I'm actually going to get a start on The Tunnel because I did promise that I was going to read this book sometime this summer. So I should probably start on this one. It's a hefty book, and I assume this is sort of a difficult read from what I've read about it. So I think this is probably going to take some time. So I'm going to devote some time to this one. Then we've got Colson Whitehead's The Nickel Boys. This book I got for free from my public library for signing up for the summer reading program. And then we've got Gina Chung's Sea Change, which is about a woman who works at an aquarium at a mall who befriends an octopus, and her boyfriend has just left her for a mission to Mars. It seemed like a very interesting concept for a book. So I don't really know anything else about it, but I thought that was interesting. This book I don't know anything about. This is Monstrilio by Gerardo Samano Cordova. So I don't know what this is about at all, but I still want to read it. Then I've got this short story by George Saunders. This is called Fox 8. I could probably just read that in an hour or so. I've got a book about writing. This probably isn't something that is meant for the channel exactly, but I don't know. Maybe you guys are interested in stuff like this. I do a lot of writing, and I read a lot of writing books, but I don't really talk about them on this channel. But if you guys are interested in the writing books that I'm reading and what I've learned from them, then maybe I can do a video on those. This is The Art of Brevity by Grant Faulkner. And I've got another writing book here called Bushwhacking: How to Get Lost in the Woods and Write Your Way Out. I thought that sounded interesting. This is another free book that I got from my library. I don't know anything about it. It's called Size: How It Explains the World. This is something that I'm interested in. It's kind of research for a book that I'm doing. Again, it's maybe not meant for this channel exactly, but it's something that I want to get to. This is just a research book for about poverty and the homeless. This is a book about the 1991 World Series when the Twins beat the Braves in 7 games in the World Series. Probably not an interest on this channel, but again, this is something that I want to read. Then I've got a few comic books here. I've got Batman 89, and I've got these Jeff Johns books. They're kind of spin-offs from the Watchmen. They include characters from the DC universe. This is the Doomsday Clock 1 and 2. All right, next we've got Eleanor Canton's Burnham Wood. I loved her book, The Luminaries. Absolutely loved that book. And when this one came out, I actually started this. I have a bookmark in here. It's on page 40. I just got distracted by too many other things. This book wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I let myself get distracted and I never finished it. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just I just got distracted by too many other reading projects. And then another book that I started and didn't finish was Babel. But again, I liked it. I just got distracted by other things. Okay, and then we've got Cormac McCarthy's Stella Maris and The Passenger. I've actually read The Passenger. I finished The Passenger, but I haven't read Stella Maris, and these are kind of companion novels, and so I really want to finish that one. Then we've got a nonfiction book. This is Rick Rubin's The Creative Act. I'm really looking forward to this. I watched the 60 Minutes interview that Anderson Cooper did on Rick Rubin, and I was just sort of blown away. So Rick Rubin has become a guru for a lot of people in the music business, and he's written a book about the creative life. that I think it applies to a lot more than just producing music. So I'm really interested in reading this. This book is sort of taking the creative community by storm. So as a writer myself, I'm really interested in picking up his perspectives on the creative process that he's learned in the last 40 years of in the music business. There are a lot of books here. I didn't count them. It's a bunch. It's a whole bunch, and it's way more than I can read this summer. I mean, I have a job and a family and a lawn to mow and a garden to grow. And books to write myself. So there's no way that I could possibly read all of these books this summer. So help me out. Tell me downstairs in the comments, which of these books appealed to you the most? Which ones do you want to hear about on this channel? Do you want to hear about the Stephen King books? Do you want a video about just a bunch of biographies? Do you want the series on Shakespeare and Christopher Moore? Do you just want a bunch of single standalone book reviews? What are you looking for? Help me out. So I've actually got several scripts written for videos that are going to come out in the next several weeks. So in the meantime, your voting for these books is going to give me something to read so that while I'm producing those videos, I can be working on the next thing. So seriously, help me out. Vote early, vote often. Vote for more than one thing. I don't care. Vote for as much as you want. Just whatever honestly appeals to you. I'm stumped. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.